is we want to create a tab separated file that represents a identity matrix between any number of protein sequences. So I'm just going to give you the quick and easy way to do this, and let's just jump in. So the first thing you want to do is go over to Uniprot and download a few protein sequences. In this case, I searched for olfactory receptors, and I highlighted 3 different olfactory receptors. Then I want to go up here and I want to click download while those are highlighted. I want it to be a FASTA file, the canonical form of FASTA, and I do not want it compressed. Then I download that. That's going to put those files into your downloads folder. So then you're going to go over to your downloads folder like I did here, and you're going to right click on that file. You're going to copy as path of your on a Windows computer, and then you're going to want to open up your Notepad application. And in the Notepad application, you're going to paste that path in there, and you'll see that they're all backslashes, excuse me. Those need to be forward slashes for Python. So you're going to replace all of the backslashes with forward slashes. Then you're going to copy that path, and you're going to go back to your Python notebook or your Jupyter notebook, and you're going to paste that path into your input file variable. Okay, so that's going to tell that's setting where we're going to look for the FASTA file. We're going to also set an output directory, and this is where we will save the tab delimited file when we're finished. Now we're going to use the some functions of Biopython. We're going to use the seek.io function as well as the pairwise2. The seek.io is for bringing the sequences in, parsing the FASTA file. Pairwise2 is for aligning the sequences. We're also going to use the bio.align module to pull in a substitution matrix. We're also going to use pandas, which is going to allow us to save our output as a tab delimited file, and numpy, which is we're going to use to convert to a numpy array once we have our distances. In order to parse the file, we're going to use the seek.io function and the parse seek.io.parse function actually of the input file, and that's going to give us each of our records. So each of the records is going to have an ID field, a description field, and a sequence field. So whenever we execute this script here, we see the differences between those 3 fields. Now the description field is a little bit long. We don't really need all that information, so we're just going to use the ID field and the sequence field today, but you do have all 3 of those fields that come out of a FASTA file. We're going to then set some parameters for the alignment. So for the alignment, we're going to use substitution matrix. We're going to use the Blossom 45 substitution matrix. We're going to set our gap open penalties and our gap extend penalties for the alignment. I used a -3 and a -1 here. Now, once we have the alignment, we need to take the alignment, the 2 different sequences, and we need to calculate an identity between them. So I wrote this function here to basically look at each character in the aligned sequences, and if they're identical, we add it to a variable we call count here, and then after we've gone through all of the characters, then we calculate the identity by taking the count divided by the full length of the sequences. So we now need to run a pairwise identity loop, or 2 loops to get the pairwise identity for all of the pairs of those 3 sequences. So it's going to be a 3x3 matrix with 9 different identities in it. You'll see 3 that are identical to each other. Those are the diagonal identities, and those represent comparing a sequence to itself. We're going to store the names 1 time for each one of those, so that we're going to use that ID field. We're going to store those 1 time. Those are going to ultimately become the headers and the named indices for our identity matrix that we're going to output as a tab delimited file. So we're going to use the pairwise2.align.global ds alignment of Biopython to align sequence 1 and sequence 2. Sequence 1 will pick up from the first loop, sequence 2 from the nested loop. We're also going to use the matrix that we defined earlier up here the blossom 45, the gap open, and the gap extend. And we're only going to take the best alignment. So it's going to be the first alignment that's output, because doing the alignment this way, you end up with multiple alignments. The first one is the best one. It's the alignment with the lowest possible score. So the best alignment. So then once we have that alignment, we've taken the best alignment. We just want the two sequences separated. So we want to have the version of the first sequence in its aligned form and the version of the second sequence in its aligned form. And then we want to use that function that we wrote to calculate the identity to actually put those sequences in and tell us what the identity is. Then we're going to add that identity to a list. Now that's just a standard list. It's not an identity matrix at this point. It's not a 3x3 matrix. It's just a standard list that's going to have 9 identities in it. But we know we have a 3x3 matrix, so we're going to use we're going to convert that list, that single list, into an identity matrix by using numpy.array on the identity list with a reshape function that sets it to the 3x3 matrix. In this case, I use the length of the records, so the length of the FASTA file, how many sequences are in the FASTA file, in order to set the dimensions of the matrix. You want to use it this way because you may not always have a 3x3 matrix. You may have 10 sequences in your FASTA file. So this allows the same script to be used over and over for whatever length of FASTA file you have. We're then going to put that identity matrix into a pandas data frame, and we're going to use those names that we compiled the list for up there to name the column headers as well as the named indices. So you'll end up with column headers like here and named indices like here. So ultimately, this is what you want your output to look like, but if you're wanting in a tab separated format, then you're probably wanting to pull it into Excel or something like that. So we're going to save it. We're going to take that identity matrix data frame. So we put it in a data frame here. We're going to take that identity matrix data frame. We're going to save it. We're going to use this toCSV function, and that's a pandas function. We're going to save it to that output file directory, and we're going to give it a name, tab delimited matrix. And we're going to change the separator. So instead of using a comma, as in a standard CSV, we're going to use a tab character. And we're going to want to make sure that we set the index to true, because if you don't set this to true, then your named indices will not show up in the file. So let's just see how all this works. Let's just run it all. So I'm going to run it cell by cell. So run that cell. You see that you got the first sequence there. We're just testing to see if we got the sequences in there. We got the ID for it and the sequence. We're going to set the identity parameters, or the alignment parameters, excuse me, the matrix and the gap open and extend. No output from that. You're just setting them. We're going to initialize this function. Same thing. No output from that. We're just setting it. Now here we're going to align everything, and I'm going to add something here so that you can see the identity list. So we're going to print out the ident list after we perform all the alignments. So you're going to perform 9 alignments here, and then we're going to print the ident list. So we run that, and there's your 9 identities there as just a straight list. Now then, as I told you, we're going to convert that to a matrix by reshaping it, and we're going to print that. So let's run this. And so here you see that we have the same identities, but as a matrix here. And now we've converted them over to a pandas data frame here, and we've sent them out to this tab delimited text file. So we're going to go back to my downloads file where that was going, and we're going to take this tab delimited text file. We're going to open it just as a text document. There it is as a text document. Now if you want to open it in Excel, you'll have to open Excel first. And then once Excel is open, you're going to click, first of all, get rid of that. Then you're going to click open. You're going to browse your computer. You're going to go to your downloads file. You're going to click all files, because it won't come up unless you do. And then you're going to open that tab delimited file. Now it's going to ask you whether it's delimited or fixed width. It is delimited. on the next page, you're gonna say that it's delimited by tabs, and then you're just gonna finish there. And then if you want to make it a little more readable, you can extend, make the cells wider, or if you want to make these vertical text so that you can see it better. Now you have your tab delimited text file, or your tab delimited identity matrix, excuse me. So that's how you do it. I hope this helps you out. I hope it gets you a little further down the line. Please like the video, and please subscribe to my channel. Have a good day.